Think and Go Rich is a classic book that was published in 1937, almost 90 years ago, by a gentleman named Napoleon Hill. He claimed that he interviewed many of the most successful people of his time to distill common traits of what made them successful. The list he calls out includes people like Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, John D. Rockefeller, Thomas Edison, really the huge names of his time. Now, I don't know if he actually interviewed these people, but I do believe in the power of this book and what it has to share. And so have many others. That's why it remains a bestseller even almost 90 years later. Well, when you first look at the title, you might think, oh, this must be about money. And yes, money is a big topic in the book. But I think what makes this book so powerful is that you can apply what he talks about in here to really any goal or big endeavor that you have in your life. I first read this book 20 years ago, and I continued to revisit it every few years. And I just picked it up again a few months ago, and it occurred to me, I haven't shared anything about this book with my audience. So I want to share some of the key insights I've taken away from this book with 3 of the most powerful lessons that I personally got out of it. The first is that opportunity often comes disguised. This is so true, and it's something that I need to remind myself of often because it's not something that I'm naturally attuned to. Napoleon states, opportunity often comes sneaking in the back door when no one's looking, and it's often disguised as misfortune or temporary defeat. I really like the story in the book that Napoleon talks about a gentleman named Edwin C. Barnes that was really intent on being a business partner to Thomas Edison. Yes, the Thomas Edison, the guy that invented the light bulb and all sorts of other things. He came to Mr. Edison's office in New Jersey from California, no money and really no skills, but he really wanted to be his partner. So he started out cleaning floors and doing things that required no skill at all, and just spent as much time as he could listening and being in the environment of Thomas Edison. Years went on, and he became more close to the business and what was going on, and his opportunity came in a funny way. So Thomas Edison, the inventor that he is, invented this dictation machine that was meant for businesses, and none of his salespeople liked it. They thought it was not worth selling, that no one would buy it, and they just didn't want to sell it. This is the opportunity where Edwin Barnes stepped up and said, look, I'll sell it for you. And now this guy's not a salesman, to be clear, but he saw an opportunity, something that nobody else wanted to mess with. And he said, I'll do it. And he went in, started selling this machine, and did really well. So well, in fact, that Thomas Edison gave Edwin the contract to sell this machine nationwide. And years later, he was a business partner to Thomas Edison. Note that this opportunity that came to him was not something that was this amazing opportunity that's presented to him. He saw a problem that Thomas Edison was having and said, I can help you with that. A problem that nobody else wanted to touch. It was a great opportunity for him, and it turned out well. So this is an example of what I mean when I talk about opportunity often being disguised. And this has happened in my life too. I have met people that have been really influential in my life just by happenstance or situations that initially didn't look that good or even negative, but I made a connection and I was able to take that into something further. This happens all the time. So this is a lesson that I try to remind myself of, and it's a lesson for you to consider too. Number 2, desire and faith are a winning combination. In the book, Napoleon really dives into both desire and faith. And they're 2 different things, and when you put them together, they make a really powerful combination. Because the fact that he makes in the book is true, is that nobody is ready to receive something unless they truly believe they can receive it. The state of mind has to be about belief and not hoping or wishing. And having an open mind is critical to have strong belief. Closed minds do not inspire faith or courage or belief. And it doesn't take any more effort to aim high and demand abundance and prosperity than it does to accept misery and poverty. So why not use the energy you have towards a positive and forward-looking mental attitude. I love this quote from the book that I'm going to read to you right now. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it's almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out of the world we find, success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you are. You've got to think high and rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but soon or late, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. I love that quote because it really talks about the power of faith and really believing in the things you're trying to attract. He mentions a story in the book about Mahatma Gandhi, which is impressive. The guy did amazing things, really based on faith. He didn't have money, he didn't have an army, he didn't have all the political clout, but what he did have was a strong faith, and people followed him. And the ability of an individual to do that is just incredible. Hey, real quick, are you liking this video? Please click the like button so YouTube knows this is valuable content and will share it with other immigrants. Now, back to the video. Number 3, be open to your imagination. Now, it's often the case that we have a really high goal, but really don't have a good idea of how we're going to achieve it. That's okay, because there are often ways that the imagination comes to life to show you ways on how to accomplish it. We just have to be open to listening and to receive it. And it can often come in the form of a hunch or some sort of inspiration. So not necessarily in your face, but it's important to listen and think creatively. This one's happened in my life as well. When I have something that I know I want to achieve, but I'm not quite sure exactly how to do it, I start reading, talking to people, watching videos, and as I absorb content, things start to pop in my mind. And before you know it, I've got an idea of an approach I want to use. And I can bounce the idea off of others and see what they think and really strengthen that idea. And this is something that has served me well over my life. So it's something else to think about when it comes to looking at accomplishing big goals when you don't really know exactly how you're going to do it. Does it mean you should get rid of the goal because you don't know how to do it? Absolutely not. You can have a high goal and not know how to achieve it. Just be sure that when you have that goal and you visualize it, that you keep your mind open as to ways that you could potentially get to that goal. Now, I know there are many people out there who do not believe in positive thinking or visualization or manifestation and ideas like that. And I get it. I used to be somebody like that too. I started my career as an engineer. I've always been very logical. So for me to think about these kinds of concepts at first was pretty novel. But over time, I've seen how really believing in this kind of an approach has helped me progress further in my life. And as a result, I've become a positive person due to the lessons in this book. Now, yes, bad things do happen, but I choose to direct those experiences to be as positive as possible and learn from them and build on going forward. Now, this book was written in a different era, so there are some parts that aren't necessarily very savory, but try to look past that and get the most out of reading this book. It's been out for so long that it's practically free. It's available on Amazon and a bunch of different booksellers for very low money. And the good news is that it's available in many languages. So if English isn't your strongest language and there's another language that's stronger, you can probably find a copy of this book in that language. I've included links in the description with copies of the book in English, Spanish, Hindi, and Chinese. But I'm sure if there's some other language that you're interested in, you can probably find it. Now, I wanted to keep this video short because I wanted you to really read the book and get the most out of it. I do believe that this is one of those must-read books that everybody should be going through and thinking about adopting in some way, shape, or form into their life. Now, if you're looking to learn more about the mindset of real estate investing and why real estate is a great option for growing your wealth, I recommend checking out the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I talk about right here. Thanks for watching the Immigrant Wealth Channel.